Today on the Rockbridge Report. President Joe Biden delivers his first primetime speech to the nation after signing the COVID-19 relief package today. We'll tell you what's in the massive relief package and how it may affect you. And then later, a new update on when the pandemic may finally be in our rearview mirror. Then, another new solar panel project may come to Rockbridge County between two major highways. Weatherman Andrew Arnold will let you know whether the warm spring weather will continue this weekend. And after a 2-year hiatus, March Madness is finally back, and our sports anchor Sean Lee tells us what to expect. All next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Jack Hunter. I'll be joined later by my co-anchor, Shauna Muckle, weather with Andrew Arnold, and sports with Sean Lee. President Joe Biden is scheduled to give his first primetime address tonight on the heels of his first legislative win with the passing of the COVID-19 relief bill. But as Britt Conway reports, the president could be facing his first potential crisis as migrants flood the southern U.S. border.
Today marks 1 year since the pandemic was officially declared, and President Joe Biden will deliver his first primetime address to commemorate the anniversary and remember the lives lost. But as he reflects on one crisis, another potential crisis is brewing at the border. A record surge of children crossing into the U.S. from Mexico by themselves.
There are more children coming across the border than we have facilities for.
On March 10th, the Department of Health and Human Services said about 8,100 unaccompanied children were being taken care of by folks from the Office of Refugee Resettlement. On February 28th, that number was 7,700, but these numbers don't include kids who were placed with sponsors. And when the February data comes out today, an agency spokesman says it, quote, will likely be historic. White House officials aren't calling it a crisis.
The border is a constant work in progress.
Pointing to previous policy.
We can't just undo 4 years of the previous administration's actions overnight.
But a number of Republicans disagree.
I am very appalled what's happening at the border.
And they're pointing at Biden, who says he's trying to implement a more humane approach to immigration.
The Biden border crisis is real.
President Biden is obsessed with repealing everything with Trump's name on it.
Biden will speak for himself tonight. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says that direct payments could hit some American bank accounts as soon as this weekend. Some health experts are now putting a timeline as to when the U.S. may finally reach herd immunity. CNN's Mandy Gaither reports.
When more Americans get vaccinated, it's less likely COVID-19 will spread. The U.S. could hit herd immunity by this summer through vaccination alone.
If you look at the planned rollout of the vaccines, that we would hopefully get to that point somewhere by the end of the summer and the early fall.
According to the latest numbers, we still have a ways to go. Herd immunity thresholds for COVID-19 are only estimates at this point, but experts generally agree that somewhere between 70% and 85% of the population must be protected to suppress the spread. Getting there before next winter will be key.
If we can get to 80% population immunity by the end of the summer, then we won't see a surge next winter, because this is basically a winter respiratory virus, and it'll be back unless we have a significant percentage of the population vaccinated.
When the weather gets warmer, health experts say that will also help.
If you look at what happened last summer, when 100% of the population was susceptible and we didn't have a vaccine, still those numbers came down and then surged again in the winter.
But it all hinges on Americans getting their COVID-19 vaccinations.
If a significant number of people do not get vaccinated, then that would delay where we would get to that endpoint.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
At the current pace of about 2 million doses per day, including 100 million doses of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine, 70% of the U.S. population could be fully vaccinated around the end of July, and 85% by mid-September, according to a CNN analysis. Texas lifted its pandemic restrictions on Wednesday by removing its statewide mask mandate as well as limits on business occupancy. Stefania Okoli has the reaction in Houston to the big change.
A first day out for Texans with a lifted mask mandate and no business capacity limits as the pandemic continues.
I woke up feeling that, it's good to have the option, and to have that freedom, the freedom to choose whether I wanted to wear it, but also keeping in mind to being respectful of others.
And I've had my 2 shots, but I'm still doing it just to my protection and other people's protections.
Most eyes have been on businesses. The decision owners had to make by today. Would they still require guests to wear masks or give them the opportunity to choose?
We need the restaurant industry to start booming again and make a comeback.
And for Eric Nelson, owner of Pearland's Good Vibes restaurant, he hopes to see that boom with restrictions lifted. He plans to seat his restaurant 100% and guests don't have to wear masks.
A lot of guests coming in without masks, but we also have guests that wear masks.
John White wants the same for his business, Miller's Cafe. While they'll stick to 75% capacity, they will not require guests to wear a mask. He says today showed him he likely made the right decision.
In terms of people respect one another, it went by very well. About 30-70, 70 wearing a mask, 30 not. Honestly, it was good to just see people's faces.
Meanwhile, local leaders are hoping businesses stick to a more restricted protocol, not letting up on mask requirements and remaining mindful of social distancing.
Now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time for a mission accomplished moment, as much as we all wish it were. I'd love to be able to say it's all over. I'd love to be able to give the good news and to say everything should go 100% back to normal, that nobody needs to wear these uncomfortable masks anymore. But we can't throw away all our sacrifices.
I'm Stefania Okoli, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Democrats are making a new push to enact the first major new gun control laws in more than 2 decades. The House passed legislation today requiring background checks on all firearm sales and transfers. Similar bills were passed by the House in 2019, but were stalled by a GOP-controlled Senate. Democrats now holding the Senate as well, giving the party hope the bills will at least be considered. But the bills would need significant bipartisan support to pass. Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, reporter Megan Murchie-Bama will tell you where in Rockbridge County is hoping to start a new solar panel project. And later, Andrew Arnold will let you know if this spring weather is here to stay.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Shauna Muckle. A new solar panel facility might be coming to Rockbridge County. If approved, this would be the county's 4th solar panel project. Megan Murchie-Bama has the story.
The Rockbridge County Planning Commission reviewed a proposal for a new solar panel facility at a public hearing last night. An energy company has applied to build a 40-acre solar panel facility in Fairfield, Virginia. If Dynamic Energy, LLC, gets approval, it would be the 4th solar project in the county. The facility could generate 5 megawatts of electricity, enough to power 1,000 homes. The company wants to build the solar panel project in a field between Route 11 and Interstate 81. County Community Development Director Chris Sladen says with previous solar proposals, residents worried that the panels would ruin the aesthetics of the surrounding area. He says he thinks the proposed Fairfield site may avoid some aesthetic concerns due to its location between 2 major roads.
I've gotten probably about 6 phone calls. No one I've spoke to has raised opposition to the project.
The proposed site is across Route 11 from Fairfield Elementary School. At the public hearing, Planning Commission member David Whitmore said he liked the idea of building it near the school.
What a great opportunity to use it as an educational tool for the school. And I'm sure all the elementary school kids are going to be looking across the road and saying, what does that do?
Sladen says the solar project would be the first built on farmland. He says farmers used to grow corn in the field.
You're always worried about the loss of productive farmland. That's obviously the saying, no farms, no food.
James G. Alexander owns the land that Dynamic Energy wants. Alexander says 10 companies contacted him about a solar project. The county got its first major solar project in 2016. That's when the electric company BARC installed a facility on the land that used to house Highland Bell Elementary School. Another solar project was approved last year and is under construction in Walker's Creek. A third was approved, but never built. The Planning Commission will continue to fine-tune the project proposal, and will discuss it again at the April 14 Commission meeting. If Commission members recommend the project, it will go to the Board of Supervisors for approval. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Megan Ritchie-Bama.
Lexington City Council is considering selling a property on Spotswood Drive to developer Echelon Resources. Echelon plans to build 150 apartment units on the site. But the proposed deal has come under public scrutiny. The developer's sale price is well below the property's value, and two important nonprofits would be forced to move. RARA and the Community Table have been located on the property for almost a decade. They provide essential aid to the less fortunate in the area. City Council will continue to discuss the issue on March 18th. A group of 59 Democratic lawmakers demanded New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's resignation Thursday in the wake of an allegation that he groped an aide at the executive mansion last year. This is the sixth sexual harassment allegation that the governor has faced in recent weeks. The European Medicines Agency on Thursday gave the green light to Johnson & Johnson's one-dose coronavirus vaccine, handing the European Union's 27 nations a fourth vaccine to try to speed up the bloc's highly criticized vaccine rollout. Europe recorded 1 million new COVID-19 cases last week, an increase of 9% from the previous week, and a reversal that ended a 6-week decline in new infections. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, another Generals basketball player joining the 1,000-point club. And fans have waited 2 years for another March Madness tournament. We give a preview.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Andrew Arnold. With news of some vaccines going to waste, some Americans have taken it upon themselves to try and find leftover vaccines. Caroline Reinwald reports.
Suha German is waiting.
How many times have you tried this?
This is actually going to be my first time.
Standing outside Hayat Pharmacy's vaccination clinic at the end of the day, hoping to get a leftover vaccine.
I'm traveling a lot back and forth to my country, so if I have the opportunity here, I would like to take the opportunity.
Thousands of Americans do this every day. Websites like Dr. B and Vaccine Hunter even connect vaccinators with people waiting for leftovers. In an email to vaccinators last week, Wisconsin health officials strongly encouraged them to establish protocols to identify individuals who are currently eligible before administering vaccines to those who aren't. Still, the bottom line, don't waste any vaccine.
How often is that happening a day when they're coming in asking for an extra vaccine?
Oh gosh, I'd say that we get maybe a handful of walk-ins every day, but the phones are off the hook.
Hayat Pharmacy says they prepare vaccines based off how many people are in their walk-in vaccination clinic. And if there's leftover vaccine, they first call eligible customers and local facilities. On Tuesday, the final vial had 6 doses left.
Lucky day today.
After employees made their calls,
We just need one.
3 eligible people showed up. The other 3
only have one more dose for you too.
were in the right place at the right time.
I had called, I think, 3 of them today, and I called 2 other local pharmacies yesterday and was told that they weren't taking a wait list.
You've got to be really excited.
I'm super excited, yes.
After getting their first shot and some a quick hug, these vaccine chasers will be back in April for their booster.
I think I did the right thing. I mean, they had extra ones, otherwise they were going to throw it away. So at least some people get, benefits out of it.
Outstanding day today in Lexington with a high of 77, low of 54. Barometric pressure sitting at 30 and 21/100 inches of mercury. Wind speeds getting up there to 15 miles an hour occasionally, and humidity at 22%. Those clear skies and warm temperatures were shared across the state today, with it currently 77 in Lexington, 78 in Buena Vista, up north in Charlottesville and Stanton, 79 and 75 respectively, down south in Lynchburg, 78, Roanoke, 79, and west in Covington, 75. Clear skies all around. These warm temperatures will continue into the weekend, with a high of 68 on Friday, low of 45 and cloudy skies. On Saturday, high of 66, low of 40 with partly cloudy skies. And on Sunday, last warm day with a high of 61, low of 39 and cloudy skies. On Monday, it's going to be cooler with high of 47, low of 38 and some rain showers in the evening. And that rain will continue into Tuesday with the high of 56, low of 41. When we come back on the Rockbridge Report, Sean Lee will tell you what you need to know about the world of sports, including a heartwarming story of young students sending letters to college players.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Sean Lee. Let's talk sports. The Washington Elite women's basketball team unfortunately saw its season come to an end on Tuesday evening as the third-seeded Generals fell to second-seeded Lynchburg 87-75 in the ODAC semifinals, but not before senior guard Aaron Hughes scored her 1,000th career point earlier in the tournament. Take a look.
Will the Generals go right to number 32? They do on the cut. Count the basket. And a foul. And celebration time as Aaron Hughes becomes the 14th member of the 1,000-point club here at Washington and Lee.
The Generals and Lynchburg were tied at one point in the third quarter until Lynchburg pulled away with a 13-4 scoring run to end the quarter. Aaron Hughes had 15 points on the game as she finishes her Generals career with a total of 1,027 points. Hughes scored her 1,000th point this weekend in the ODAC quarterfinals. The Washington and Lee men's lacrosse team won their first game of the season last night at home against Mary Washington. The 19th ranked Washington and Lee team jumped out to a 6-1 lead and was never seriously challenged in posting a 19-8 victory over Mary Washington in both teams' season opener on Wednesday evening at Wilson Field. The men's golf team was also victorious this weekend at the Hill City Invitational. The 18th ranked Washington and Lee team fired a +3 score of 291 on Tuesday to overtake Southern Virginia and claim the team title at the Hill City Invitational held at the Boonesboro Country Club. And after a week in which the VMI Keydets faced the Virginia Commonwealth University Rams 3 times, the VMI baseball team is scheduled to do the same with James Madison University this week. The Keydets travel to Harrisonburg Thursday at 3 p.m. and host the Dukes Saturday and Sunday in Gray Minor Stadium. Fans will be allowed at the VMI home games with masks required. The VMI football team is off to a hot 2-0 start, and their season continues this Saturday at home with the game against Mercer at 1:30 p.m. This game will be broadcast on ESPN+. And to professional sports now, the NBA returns to action tonight after the All-Star break. The top-seeded Brooklyn Nets will face off against a team considered to be one of their toughest challenges in the East, the Boston Celtics. The Nets acquired former All-Star Blake Griffin over the All-Star break to go with their already high-powered trio of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. That will be the first of the 2 nationally broadcasted games on TNT tonight. The later game will be between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Golden State Warriors. The Clippers still remain in the conversation to become the best team in the Western Conference, but disappointing defensive play to start the season has them behind the Lakers and Jazz. But even with the return of the NBA today, most sports fans' eyes will be on college basketball, as conference tournaments continue today and through the weekend. Exactly a year ago today, the world came to a standstill when the March Madness tournament was canceled. Now, teams are gearing up for the first tournament in 2 years. ESPN has wall-to-wall coverage of the ACC, SEC, Big 12, and Big 10 tournaments all day for the next 3 days. The tournaments will wrap up on Sunday, and the bracket will be released on Sunday evening. Today, UVA won their quarterfinal game versus Syracuse in grand style. Reese Beekman hit a 3-pointer as time expired to help number 16 Virginia edge Syracuse 70-69. The Cavaliers advanced to Friday's semifinals to face the winner of the Miami-Georgia Tech game. According to ESPN's current bracketology, Gonzaga, Illinois, Baylor, and Michigan are the current projected 1 seeds, but early conference tournament exits later this week could shake things up. And March Madness will be held this year in Indianapolis, the first time the whole event has been held in just one location, the NCAA's attempt to manage the spread of COVID. Some excited students in the area are sending letters of support to their favorite players coming to town next week. Logan Gay reports.
The NCAA is doing everything they can to make the March Madness tournament the most memorable event of 2021. But they need your help to do it. Letters like these 2, welcoming the teams with open arms to Indy, have been flooding in. Brett Kramer with the Indiana Sports Corp says they have collected at least 2,000 letters. She calls it a statewide effort.
Hopefully at the end of the day, it will put a smile on their face and a way for them to know that Indiana and Indianapolis is rooting for them in their journey through March Madness.
Hoosiers like Michelle Hine and her 6th grade class at McClellan Elementary got in on the action. She used this opportunity as a writing assignment, and her class wrote more than 100 letters of support and encouragement.
They really pulled out some really inspirational quotes about, working hard, and you've put in so much work and effort for this. This is like where it all pays off.
She hopes the athletes are as excited about getting the letters as they were writing them.
Our class, I already know, the impact was just feeling very positive about their city and having something in this nutty year to really look forward to.
Kramer says they hope the letters create a connection between Hoosiers and the athletes.
The student athletes and teams will not have that type of connection with the community as they typically would in a normal year, in a normal tournament circumstance. So we are trying to create very different ways for the community to really have an impact on the student athletes.
Kramer and Hine tell me this initiative is all about showing a little Hoosier hospitality.
We're here for you, we see you, and we really want you to enjoy your experience in our city during this time.
That Indianapolis really will put on the face of welcome, and we will make this the best tournament that it can possibly be.
That's all for today's edition of the Rockbridge Report. To stay up to date on all of the latest local, national, weather, and sports news, follow us on our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thanks for watching.